Hello and welcome again to Steve's Long Stay Vintage Radio Workshop, and we've got another tape recorder here, and this is one which I haven't found a circuit for online, and what's more, I haven't found another one of these online anywhere either, so this is quite an interesting bit of kit. Unlike the one that does go up online quite often, this one it has capstan and an idler drive. It takes 5-inch reels, and like I said, I've not got any more of these on here, so you know I don't know quite what's going on here. That lot seems to be all right, you know. So I don't know anything about it as of yet. This wooden case is shall we say interesting. So let's have a look and see what it does. It's 6 volts or mains. Switch on the side there for that. Okay, on the other side we've got the microphone and that sort of thing, so that's very much similar to the cassette. So this is probably late 60s, early 70s. Japanese, and that is literally all I know about it so far. Now, it's transistorized. I know that because it's got all transistorized across the front, which puts it late 60s rather than 70s, because in those days something was all transistorized. That was something that they'll put on something if they wanted to sell it, so that was quite possibly something which happened quite a lot. But at this point, I think the first thing we need to do here is get this thing apart and have a look inside. Now, because it's battery mains, I'm going to go and say I'm going to look at all of it before I plug it in, because I think, you know, it's set like this. I think really it's does actually. I think most people would want to run it on these, but we'll see about them both, obviously. Yeah. So I'll take out the screws on the side here, and possibly the ones underneath, and we'll see if it is likely to come out for us. So I can have a look inside and see what's what and what's not, as the saying goes. So that one comes out like that. Okay, this one comes out and take the hands off. Oh, that was one, isn't there? There you go. Okay, yeah. Like I said, there's always bloody one, isn't there? I think this one has been put in. There we go. We got it right. Okay, so now that should come off, which it does. Okay, put that over there. And will it now lift out in any way, shape or form? I wonder. Tell you what, I'll Okay. Well, what I'll do, I'll get it apart by taking these bottom ones off as well here, and we'll take it from there. Well, the first thing I'll say here is that these are very get-atable. The level meter on the front and the speaker aren't soldered to the tape recorder itself. They're on a 4-pin plug here. You know, that comes. The screw's missing from that actually, but that's not a problem. So I take them off the bottom, and the screws off the side, and out it came with a little bit of fiddling, but you know, can't have everything. So if we get that and put it out of the way, like that, okay, and that too, okay. Here is the tape recorder itself. It's quite a simple mechanism, but it's very simple to operate, and it looks to be okay actually, mechanical and motor wise. There are belts on it, but as you can see here, they're actually quite tight as well, so there's nothing much to worry about there. You see, that is so. Now, if we go to rewind first of all, which is that one like that, you see, the motor comes through here like that, and it then of course goes into to here and operates first of all. That goes like that for rewind. Yeah. It seems to be fairly good for fast forward and play. Of course, it is a spindle type machine, which is here, and again it does that. So again, there's no real problems there as far as I can tell. That must have come off the case, so I'll put that over there. Right, anyway, looking at the other side of it, like that, 6 volts, like I said before, and of course also mains, which is here. And so there should be a transformer somewhere on this. If there isn't, and I put mains to it, then there'll be an awful bang. But yeah, so I don't know why the transformer is on this, if there is one. There should be, but I'm not 100% sure, I must say. Unless it's under here. It might be under here. But I think with that in mind, I think we'll start it on 6 volts and see what we get. So I'll get that set up, and then we'll get it to operate on 6 volts and see what this deck does. Now, you always check first of all as which way around the batteries go to the unit itself. This is not for the fun of it, because some units the chassis is negative and some it's positive. So if I go on to the that, of course, that's okay there, yeah. It's there, okay, fine. Well, that's positive, so therefore this is therefore positive deck. Okay, as far as negative is concerned, it goes to there. Okay, it goes to there. So we know therefore that this is a positive controlled, positive bus bar unit. So we've got to wire it as such. So this therefore goes to deck like that, and the other one here goes to goes to negative like that. And now what we do now is power it up very slowly and see what happens. So I'll just wire up the power supply and we'll try it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That's okay, fine. Nothing is doing anything it shouldn't anyway, so that seems okay, apart from that which is fair enough, okay. Not too happy with that, I must say. That seems okay as well. So what's up with the data, I wonder. Closing it outwards to let it no different here, that is it. That's okay. That's okay. That goes to that, goes to that, dude. If that is the way it's going to do it, then I think it's probably going to be that belt, but okay, not to worry. Right, well, I'll knock that off for a second like that, and I will put the wheels. I will put the wheels of tape back on because that's the way to do it. So now we do that, okay. It's a common problem taking with tape recorders when they're putting them back together like this. With them apart, sometimes it can be pretty there you go, right. So now if I put that like that, okay. And put that like that. And that like that, and there we go. So now if we do that seems okay. That seems okay. Well, that doesn't, does it? Okay, not to worry. We'll look into that at some point in the near future. So we know from that the deck is basically working. So so far so good as it goes. Okay, right, well with that like that, we now have to look and find out why that. I mean that if it's that belt, that matter of changing that belt, which is fair enough. It shouldn't be too hard to swap. That's not right, is it? Okay, not to worry. If you take that off that again like that, I noticed that this belt here would go underneath there, so we need to find out. That's okay. So we'll try that again now. We'll see if it improves things somewhat. So that goes on to there. This one goes onto there, down there. Okay. Stand it up again like that, and we'll see what it looks like now. Not much better, it must be said. Yeah. So I think the next thing we do here is probably going to be change that belt. It's better, but still not right. That was better, but yeah, it's there. It's there. Okay, not to worry. I'll find a belt for it, and I'll find a belt for it that'll fit, and we'll look at how it goes off and on. I think this lot here must come off. I don't really fancy, but if we got hang on. Suppose that goes onto the other half of that wheel there. Suppose that goes on the other half of that. It is a wheel. And that gives us enough. Hang on, let me have a fiddle. Right, now I've got the speaker connected up again. I've got a tape on. Somebody like shaking steams, obviously, back in the day. I think that's shaking. Let's record with the mic connected, so it shouldn't have come out like that. Rewind it slightly. There we are. And let's see what happens here. Haha, it records, it erases as well. Right, so this is looking very good so far, I must say. Very good. But let's go back to there we are. Like I said, somewhere must have liked Shaking Stevens. Right, so we know that it more or less works. The one thing that doesn't work on this, still, I'm afraid, right, boy, it is now, sort of, is the fast forward. It tries, as you can see there. That way's fine, but then again, nothing in the way to stop it from being, you know. So, like I said, it tries its best, but I think it's this. It's that belt under there. Now to get that out, I think we have to. Actually, I'll very quickly wind the tape off. We need to look under there, so I need to work out the best way to do that because it goes right underneath that. That goes right under there as well. So one or two things might need to come off here for it to get to that. These two screws here hold this lot down, so off they come. These two here. That one's off, okay. This one will be in a second. There we go. Now the next thing to take off is going to be, I think, this wheel here, this capstan wheel. That comes off as well, I think. Unless there's other ways to do it, which I don't think there are. This is another way of getting it down under there, which I don't think there is. And then with this out of the way, that should come over. So this must come off here. By fine means or foul. Being careful not to have it fly across the workshop. You know where these things are. Right, it's off, and I'm afraid the thing on top did fly off somewhere, but I got more, so that's not a problem. It still won't come though, because this wheel here is attached to here, and so I've taken out that there, and now I've got to take out this screw here. And it doesn't feel like coming off, does it? Try the big gun. This screwdriver, by the way, goes down to a fine point at the top, so it's very good for these sort of jobs where something is a little bit stuck. In most cases it will actually, but not that one. Okay, fine. Well, got to be careful here because we don't want to back of the head of that screw for again pretty obvious reasons. So I wonder if the middle one here will come instead. Basically, we're getting this off here. Because I want to change this belt here. So this will then lift. This will then lift over there. This will come out, and we should be able to get this off here. Trouble is, it's also got this as well, which I think holds it too. Tape recorder drive belts can be very easy to change, or they can be an absolute nightmare. Practice, practice, practice with them, and always look for the worst. And always remember that, you know, there's nothing wrong with actually taking a screw or two, loosen them and see if it works. But see, now you see that all that lot is coming off. And this doesn't seem to have a stop button, so I can't hold it in place. Now, I looked online for a manual for this, and I found a picture of a cylinder machine, a photograph, but as far as the manual is concerned, the word was no. So if anyone's got a manual for it, then yes, please, but otherwise, I'm going blind. Now, when this happens again, you've got to spin. You've got to make sure that everything you do is noted. Okay. Right. I think I'll have a little look at this off camera. I've finally got the belts off. In the process it gave way. Right, anyway, this goes like that, you see, and there's two screw holes there. Okay, so that now comes off and goes over there like that. Being careful not to break any those wires there. Okay, this goes down, and there's a hole underneath the board as well, so it goes down like that. This goes up through the hole in there, and it goes back and forth. Yeah. The new belt goes, that's the bottom half of it, goes through there, through here, onto here, there's a tub over here, and back under here. That's how it works. So now I find a new belt, I put it on, assemble it, and try it. I'm going to stop here for a moment and explain something to you very briefly. That there is held on by a AC clip. Yeah, very tight indeed, and it's very, very hard to get off. But you have to get it off because this spindle here is driven from this, which goes down there. Yeah, so far so good. Okay, now then, here underneath, that has to come out of the way, so that will go underneath. Yeah, and so this has to come out, and that has to come off to get the drive belt through. Okay, and then go back on again. Okay, otherwise you can't get the drive belt back on again. It's not the easiest job in the world to do, but I've done it as long as possible, and I'm going to put something a bit easier to take off on there for future reference, because I'm not putting the original one back on because it's yeah, it's there are a few of these on here. Two of them are currently missing. That one and the one which was on the capstan, which is disappeared somewhere over there. But I will put some E-clips on, which are easy to take off and put on if we need to in the future. Also because it's easy to put them back on. This particular unit actually is like a scaled down version of the BSR deck in a way. Okay, that goes like that, you see, and this has to go on first. It goes like that. Okay, no, like that. You see, that goes through that hole there. Okay, so now I've got to put the thing back together again, which I'm going to do as far as possible off camera. Otherwise, I might use some words which YouTube might not like. Well, I finally got it all back together again. Basically, it's a reverse of getting the thing apart. These screws here and the heads, and I've put these two clips. I've put E-clips in, which is easy to handle. You take it apart again. So now, if I was to do that, that's play. Okay. That's now rewind. That's 4, which is rather better, as you can see there from before. And that is rewind. Now, on top of that also, there doesn't seem to be any anything on play. The switch is here. They're going to the thing which I need to deal with here again. But with that one down like that, there should be something at this speaker. I hope it hits anything, but there isn't. So why that is when it wasn't before, I don't really know. But the thing's been completely apart, and so for that reason, I think first of all here, this here appears to need some realignment. Stopped again now. It didn't seem too healthy before, so doesn't seem to be anything wrong there. But obviously, it's not making any sound like it should. So something else has gone completely haywire. Somewhere along the line. So I'll have to look a bit further with that, but these sort of things do happen when a tape recorder of this type is taken apart and put back together again. Things do get a bit mucked up, as they say. So now the deck's working again, we'll start with the electronics to find out where it's going, but I think first of all we need to align this slot here as well. So tape off like that, and then like that, and it comes. Thank you very much. There you go. And I'll find out why it's not putting anything out that it should, because as you can tell here, for whatever reason it's not doing. Again, why that is one of those things which we need to find out why. Without a circuit diagram, this could be fun. When they come across a fault like that, look first of all at the easy stuff. The speaker's okay, and where has it been much about with Morse? Well, it's been much about with Morse here because all this lot went off. Now I've tightened up some more screws and made sure this is all okay properly, and now again it doesn't work again. Going through one of these jobs. It's working just now. Okay, well, this is what's called an intermittent fault. Now, intermittent faults can be very hard to trace. Very hard to trace, in fact, for various reasons. So first of all, that goes up to the high it'll go like that. There doesn't seem to be anything coming off that at all. There was, but now there isn't. Now, in this situation, the scope comes in very handy indeed. So let's see what it shows us. I suppose also putting that in there correctly like that doesn't matter so much, but it is right that, you know. So now we look down here and we see what we find. Nothing, and even less there. Okay. Okay, a bit there, and again we go back here, like that, and again there isn't very much to be heard. Anywhere by the looks of it. Try the volume control. That also is doing absolutely no. Like I said before, these sort of problems are very difficult to find, and even more difficult to put right. Now, we know that it's not, I just hope it's not recording it. We should be getting Strauss waltzes here, but we aren't. We're getting absolutely diddly squat, as Jeremy Clarkson would say. So I think therefore I am, I think therefore that we need to think about this in more detail. Like I said, this lot here seems okay, but see, actually through here and the thing here on the back, the control, there we need to look at. And here, of course, we put these, and these, I think, put down here. Okay. The funny thing is, of course, just now it was fine, but now it's decided not to be, which is often the way things go. Yeah. So let's see what we can find. Well, first of all, I will. That's okay there. That's okay there. What I'll do is I'll stand it up on its front and go around the back and look at what's where. The worst kind of fault you get in anything is what's called the intermittent fault. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it's sort of started working again now. So I've got a scope on the end of it, and I've got a single generator on it. As you can see here, it's actually doing something like working. So at this point, what I'll do is now it's stopped. And then it started again. This is volume control. But anyway, now that it is running here, and if I put a signal in here at the head, it gets through okay. We know that most of this is going to be okay, because otherwise, you know, we get a bit of a problem. I've reseated all this again because of the deck was doing various things that it shouldn't. But what I've done at this point now I've got it running like that, and I'm going to put the I'm going to now leave it for a bit like that and see what happens to it, because something probably will, and when that something does happen to it, we'll be in there. So I'm going to leave it for a bit like that and see what happens. Well, in this case, actually, I've tightened everything up properly. I've redone all this lot again, and because the heads are lazy, and seems to be we can rather well now. So again, I'll leave it for a bit and see what happens with some nice music. This sounded beautiful until the motor died. So I'm going to have to put this one on the back burner to find a motor for it, which I will do at some point in the future. The electronics are fine, everything else in it is fine, but the motor itself has failed. I've put the power supply straight to the motor and it does absolutely nothing. The capacitors across it I've changed, no joy. So this motor, this is finally given up on us. I thought it might actually, because it was a bit that way inclined. It occasionally did, but until we get a motor for it, there's not a lot else I can do. So this one, I'm afraid, is going to be put on one side for quite a while. Anyway, I'll be with you soon with something else. So until then, goodbye and take care.